You are listening to the Central Indiana Sports Report, episode number 210.1, our daily update on high school, college, and professional sports in Central Indiana, with a little bit of major national sports news, anything that may be of interest to Central Indiana sports fans.
You're listening to the Central Indiana Sports Report with your host, Greg Mengelt.
Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Whenever you've chosen to listen to the Central Indiana Sports Report, we thank you for spending part of your day with us. Today is March 20th, 2025. It's a Thursday, so it's another day for the Central Indiana Sports Report. I'm your host, Greg Mengelt. I love Central Indiana sports. I am coming to you today from Madison Grant High School. Producer Susie is in the control room at headquarters in Jeffersonville. Coming up, the Pacers had another dramatic finish. The NCAA tournament continued Wednesday and has begun in earnest on Thursday. And we have some local sports updates. But first, I'm going to ask you to please go to our YouTube page, Central Indiana Sports Report, and subscribe, even if you're already subscribed at Amazon, Apple, SoundCloud, or Spotify. Please go to YouTube and follow us there. Got a lot of cool stuff going on there. Thank you. Also, Thursday and Friday are very busy days on the Central Indiana Sports Report. Here's what's been released already and what's coming up later Thursday and Friday. We had our Colts report with Eli Edwards, Michelle Garman's IU Women's Tournament preview, Cade Hampton's Ball State's Women's Tournament preview, and Kevin Helfrich's Indiana Wesleyan NAIA Women's Tournament preview. Will Smith's 5 questions that need answers, all of our semi-state previews and predictions, and the Pacers report with Mike Rich, all in the next couple of days. And of course, Grant Schaus will be joining us throughout the NCAA tournament with updates. And this daily report is released every single weekday at 1 and every weekend day whenever I get it done. We try to get it done as close to 1 as possible. We start with the dramatic Indiana Pacers. This season's actually been quite an undramatic season for the most part until the last 4 games. After Wednesday's 135-131 win over Dallas at the Fieldhouse, they've won 3 of their last 4 games, all in dramatic fashion. Playing without star Tyrese Halliburton for the second straight game, Indiana trailed the Mavericks 112-101 with 6 minutes left, and we're still trailing 125-119 with under 2 minutes to go. However, steals by Ben Sheppard and Pascal Siakam led to a big comeback down the stretch. Siakam's steal led to a Andrew Nembhard three-pointer with 14 seconds left, and the Pacers came away from the Fieldhouse with what turned out to be a big win. Siakam had another huge game with 29 points on 11 of 16 shooting, and Ben Mathurin scored 16 of his 23 points during the fourth quarter comeback. Indiana head coach Rick Carlisle said the Pacers need to be better Thursday when the 23-46 Nets visit. Consistency, especially on the defensive end, has to be better late in the season.
And we did a pretty good job in the first quarter. Then we had a let up. And then, of course, the third and early fourth was very poor. And fortunately, we were able to get things back together. But you can't make a living with this kind of inconsistency. So we've got to be better tomorrow.
The Pacers are now alone in 4th place in the Eastern Conference standings with only 14 games left to go in the regular season. They trail the 3rd place Knicks by 4 games and have a game lead on Milwaukee and Detroit, who are tied for 5th. The Mavericks are now 33-37, tied for the final play-in spot with the Suns. Speaking of dramatic, Xavier trailed Texas by 13 points in the first half and 64-57 halfway through the second, before putting together a 3-point barrage and advancing to the first round of the NCAA tournament by beating the Longhorns 86-80 in the first 4 in Dayton on Wednesday. Xavier was 12 for 25 from behind the 3-point arc, and 6 different Musketeers hit a 3 in the win. They were led by Marcus Foster's 22 points and 8 rebounds. He was 8 for 9 from the field and 4 for 5 from behind the 3-point line. The 11 seed Musketeers will face 6 seed Illinois Friday in Milwaukee. Earlier Wednesday in Dayton, Mount St. Mary's cruised past American 83-72 to advance. The Musketeers will now face top seed Duke and superstar Cooper Flagg Friday at 2:50 in Raleigh. So the field of 64 is set and play gets underway with some good early ones. Thursday, it has just begun with Louisville and Creighton. Also having just started is 4 seed Purdue, the only program from Indiana to make the tournament. They open with Big South champion High Point at 12:40 p.m. Purdue head coach Matt Painter has experienced his shares of disappointments before leading the Boilermakers to the Final Four for the first time in 44 years last year. He said he and his team understand how dangerous the Panthers are.
High Point is a very good team. They're well coached. I've been in his practices when he was a prep school coach. He coached one of our guys, Raphael Davis. My assistant was on the Creighton staff, with him, so we know how well coached they are. But, anytime you can dominate your league, win your tournament, and win 14 straight games, like that's respect, man. Those guys, that's a hard thing to do. That is a very difficult thing to do in any league that you're in. So our guys understand that, and a handful of them understand that the hard way.
Also Thursday, it'll be Wisconsin and Montana at 1:30. Top seed Houston versus SIU Edwardsville at 2. An in-state clash between Auburn and Alabama at 2:50. Clemson and McNeese at 3:15. BYU VCU at 4:05 and Georgia Gonzaga at 4:35. Tennessee against Wofford starts the evening session at 6:50. Also in the evening, Arkansas, Kansas is at 7:10. Yale, Texas A&M, and Missouri and Drake play in the 7 o'clock hour. And the first day concludes with UCLA, Utah State, St. John's, Omaha, Michigan, UC San Diego, and Texas Tech, UNC Wilmington. Friday starts with Baylor, Mississippi State, and Alabama, Robert Morris. It's March. Enjoy. Some local college baseball. Ball State whipped Butler 17-7 in 7 innings in Muncie on Wednesday. It's the Cardinals' 9th win in their last 10 games. They had 15 hits, and sophomore catcher Max Kalk had 4 of them. He went 4 for 4 with 4 RBIs and scored twice. Dylan Grego and Nick Hasofsky each homered in the win. Hasofsky drove in 4 runs and scored 4 times. Indiana Wesleyan took down Indiana Tech 19-16 in a shootout Wednesday. The Wildcats trailed 12-6 before scoring 9 times in the 6th inning and 4 more in the 7th. IWU had 5 home runs in the win, including 2 from Nick Wiley, who finished with 5 RBIs. Darian Pugh went 4 for 5, drove in 5 runs, and scored 4 times in the win. So many runs on Wednesday. Anderson beat Trine 23-7 in 7 innings at Don Brandon Field and is now 10-6 on the season. Greenfield Central's Braylon Mullins has been named Gatorade Indiana Basketball Player of the Year. Madison Grant's Dalton Sneed, Delta quarterback Bronson Edwards, Mississiniwa's Andrew Monday, Hamilton Heights Tide champion, and Yorktown's Wilson Webster have been named to the North All-Star team by the IFCA. Mississiniwa's Jeremy Lochner will serve as an assistant coach. The game will be played on January 11th at Decatur Central. Anderson senior and former New Pal star Brandon Tabor was named the National Division III Hitter of the Week after going 13 for 21 with 5 home runs, a double, 15 RBIs, and 10 runs scored from March 12th to the 15th. And Kokomo's Michaela Drake will continue her basketball career at Danville Community College, and Noblesville's Max Miller will continue his football career at DePaul. And now you know everything we know about Central Indiana sports. Thank you so much for listening. Always appreciate it. If you would like to see us continue to grow and thrive, please share these segments with your friends and family. The Central Indiana Sports Report is a product of ITG Media. And I love Susie.